This is a lesson on how to apply the Fauvist techniques. The Fauvist movement uses primary and secondary colors only. So we have yellow, orange, red, green, blue, and purple. Those are the only colors we're going to use for this drawing. And you can use felt tips. There are all kinds of different felt tips you can use. I have a large selection, and this is, for example, all the blues that I have. My own pens, but also my son's felt tips that I borrowed for this occasion. So try to get a large variety of blue tones and also tones in all the other colors. And then you take your paper and you work with the A5 size max. A5 is an A4 piece of paper. That's the usual size that you work with, in half. So you can actually make quite a small drawing with this. Here it's more about learning how to apply these techniques and not about making a big painting or drawing. I usually use this lesson to work with acrylics, but as you are all home and probably not all of you have acrylics at hand, we can also use felt tips for this lesson. The first thing you do is you find a reference photo that you want to work with. I have used a photo of one of my vacations in Spain, and I'm going to have this on my phone and look at it while I'm working. At the same time, it's good to have actually one of the Fauvist paintings next to you as well to look at, so you can see all the different colors that they use and how they apply them. The criteria that you're going to be working with here are not only reduced colors, so primary and secondary colors, but that you also work with different shades of one color, that you layer your lines, that you change the direction of the lines and the length of your lines. I'm going to show you what that means and what that looks like in this little drawing here. So once you have your photograph next to you, you can sketch that out in pencil very roughly and then start applying the colors. It's a good idea to start with the lightest colors so that you know where they go, because you cannot add lighter colors over dark colors at a later stage. It's also nice to change the width of the line, but that's not one of the criteria, because I don't know what kind of material you have and can work with, but it gives a good effect if you can change the width of the line as well and have some that are a little bit thinner and others that are a little bit thicker. So now I have my grass covered in the front. I have a tree here on the side with the trunk showing, and I'm going to make that red. So here is my red tree trunk. Showing through some of the branches here as well. I'm going to layer a little bit of this brown on top so that the red is not that bright but is toned down a little bit. It makes it more of a brownish red, but it's still red. So next I'll look at this tree and apply colors for the tree texture, and I'm also going to work with greens, but different greens here. You can also, if you don't have that many different greens to work with, you can also mix blues and greens with each other. And you can see how I made little circles here because I am actually going to apply these lines in somewhat circly nature. Not all of them, but some of them. And then some darker ones around it. So you can see by changing the direction of the line, you make the whole tree very dynamic and less static. That's also what trees look like. Leaf texture is very dynamic and somewhat dramatic. So I'm going to layer some smaller lines on top here. Just to mix things up a bit. One of the nice things about the Fauvist technique is that it's just not very realistic, so you get to play around with colors and lines and textures a bit more freely without having to make things correct or perfect. Then I'm also going to use some blue right in here. That will give the impression that the light is coming from this side and that we have a shadow on the left side of the tree. So next I'm going to work on this path here, and I'm going to use some purples for this. I have 3 somewhat purplish colors, and you can create the illusion of distance by making things that go away smaller towards the back, applying perspective here. And then also by taking the lines that you put here, making them smaller and shorter as you go towards the back. And I'm using something a little brighter in the front and then smaller and darker towards the back. Then on the sides, I can also use greens if I want to for some grass. I could also put my lines sideways to show that this is a level field here, and also work with different colors. So I think you have the general gist of how to work with this technique. I'm going to stop my explanation here and I will fast forward to the end result.